Ladies and gentlemen, we have baseball this week! Monday. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Dbacks podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It is your mayor. It is your guy. It is time for baseball season. I am Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your baseball guru around here. I don't know, that might be strong. Baseball guru? That was Jesse Friedman. I'm just more of a lover of the game. But welcome in to opening day week, ladies and gentlemen. We have opening day just a few days away, and we couldn't be more excited about that. When I say we, I mean I'm not alone around here. I got you guys, of course, in the live chat, and I got my guy, Damon Farrell, a.k.a. Damon.
Woo!
Ones and twos. He's probably more pumped than anybody because his Thursday is going to be filled with hopefully a lot of magic. Perhaps he gets to see the Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers on Thursday, and his Wildcats advance.
It could be one of the best or one of the worst days of my entire life.
It really could. It really could. But welcome into all of you guys. Glad to have you here. We have a lot to talk about. It is Mailbag Monday, and this show is brought to you by our friends at Game Time and Bet365. Make sure to download that Game Time app and create an account. Use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. And over at Bet365, any new Bet365 user can sign up and use our code of PHNX 365. You'll make a $10 bet. You'll get $365 in bonus bets, win or lose. Hello to you all. Thrilled to be getting on to regular season baseball. We finally have a wrap on Cactus League play. Now we just have 2 exhibition games here with the Cleveland Guardians before the Arizona Diamondbacks start their season in Los Angeles on Thursday. One of those games being tonight, and one of those games rudely being during our show tomorrow at 12:40. But yeah, let's go. Welcome into you guys. The Diamondbacks do finish their spring training season with a record of 15-13. If you care about such things, I do know that we kind of overreacted to how things were going for this team for a little bit. So we might as well overreact on the other side of things and say 15-13. That means we're going to the Yoffs, y'all. That means we are going to the Yoffs. But of course, the Diamondbacks finished up their season, or their Cactus League season, strong, if you want to call it that. They win their final 3 games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they, like I said, they end their season at 15-13. Something none of us care about, and I know no one will ever talk about ever again. But
I mean, it's good. Once the reinforcements came back, Derek, it felt like this team could actually win a spring training game again.
It did. And I mean,
funny how that works.
I really wasn't concerned about losing the games in the fashion in which the Diamondbacks were losing them. And I wanted to be clear about that. That's not really what made me panic. What made me panic was what was going on with the pitching staff and what was going on with the number of runs that the Diamondbacks were allowing. For the most part, when you look at the guys that were away and participating in the World Baseball Classic, there wasn't, it was mostly outside of Eduardo Rodriguez and Michael Soroka. It was mostly the Diamondbacks, position players that were missing, right? So offensively, if things kind of drifted, then I feel like it is what it is, but not that much to overreact to. What it was more was the fact that over, those 9 games where they lost 8 out of 9, they gave up 13 runs multiple times. And considering that there is a number of guys who are fighting for a spot in the bullpen, and some of those guys have not been performing well, that it was discouraging, right? You're hoping that the competition here for relievers brings out the best in some of these guys. And for the most part, it has in a few. We're going to highlight those guys. We're also going to talk about the Diamondbacks pretty much having their opening day roster set, with the exception of a few bullpen pieces, which we will discuss who we think is in and who we think is out. But in regards to overreacting to pitching and such, I am very much ready to overreact to Zach Gallen's outing against the Brewers on Friday. Damon, he did not have a good outing. And it is what it is because it's spring training. And it is what it is because it's a starter essentially getting some work in and might maybe just possibly working on one thing particular or another. But Gallen's results did not look good. He, in 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, 6 earned runs, walked 2, and struck out nobody. He gave up home runs in the 3rd inning to William Contreras, gave up a home run in the 3rd inning to Bowers, and gave up a home run in the 4th inning to Zamora. So in regards to Gallen getting ready and Gallen being prepared for opening day, I now have my concerns. I have more concerns. I know they won the game. It was good to see the bullpen come in and only allow 1 run after Gallen exited the game, right? So that part was good, but also concerning that the bullpen only allowed 1 run and Gallen was sitting here giving up 6 earned runs on 9 hits. So, there's that. Book's Journey wants me to not forget, by the way, that they crushed the spring breakout game too, which we will get to that as well. The spring breakout game, very exciting. Jose Fernandez continues to be exhilarating and continues to be the future of this team. So much so that the Diamondbacks now in spring train or in the minor league season, I guarantee you we're going to see Jose Fernandez forced into third base or first base so that they can figure out where he is going to play in the future, much like what they did with Jordan Lawler when they were trying to figure out a place for him to play.
I was just about to say, Derek, I have a weird thing with other shortstops right now where I'm like, do I root it for them? Do I root against them? I want our players to be good, but I kind of have an agenda here at hand that matters more than anything to me, I would argue. So
I understand. And you have to push that
right.
agenda at all times, right?
First base is looking pretty wide open, Jose Fernandez.
I'm just saying,
Hernandez.
Yeah, Fernandez. But we also have third base, right? We have third base because Nolan Arenado is there next year. But, he could be the third baseman of the future for this team. And considering how good he's looked so far, I can understand the impression being made. Jordan Lawler, speaking of impressions being made, was 2 for 3 in that game. He had a run scored. The Diamondbacks didn't really have anybody particularly stand out, but they were still able to score 8 runs and pull off the win. But again, when you talk about Gallen's performance on Friday, it's not hard to look at Ryan Nelson's performance on Saturday and suddenly start having second thoughts about who your opening day starter is. Because meanwhile, on Saturday, the Diamondbacks beat the Rangers by a score of 5-2, and Ryan Nelson absolutely shoved, Damon. Shoved against the Rangers. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 7 K. Just saying. At the very least, Ryan Nelson continues to solidify himself as one of the starters, and we're going to talk about the rotation being set for opening day and for the start of the regular season here, with some interesting things in there in regards to where guys are positioned. But Diamondbacks, again, beat the Rangers. Ketel Marte had himself a nice little day, 2 for 3. Ever heard of him? He's back. Might be more back than ever. 2 for 3, a double, run scored. Alek Thomas, 1 for 2 with a home run. He had 3 RBI and a walk. And Ildemaro Vargas continues to impress this spring. He was 2 for 2 with a double and a run scored. Vargas is now hitting .390 with a .966 OPS. And a couple of other guys have been putting up impressive numbers too. Those guys are the guys that, to be fair, the Diamondbacks looked to last year, gave opportunities to, like Jorge Barrosa. And Barrosa struggled, especially offensively. But so far this spring, Barrosa's looked outstanding. Another guy that's looked outstanding when it comes to pitching besides Ryan Nelson in that game is Taylor Clark. Taylor Clark went 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 1 strikeout. His ERA ends in Cactus League play at 1.04. Pretty good. Another guy with a very, very low ERA pitched in yesterday's win over the Padres, which was an 11-1 victory, and that was Juan Murillo. Juan Murillo gave up his first run of spring training. Damon, he almost made it out. He almost made it out of spring training without giving up an earned run the entire time. He gave up just the 1 run. He finishes his Cactus League play with a 1.08 ERA. That was 1 run allowed in 8 1/3 innings pitched of relief for Juan Murillo. So, again, some good performances there from some bullpen arms. And Montilla isn't necessarily a guy that is in, but he is a guy we think is going to be in. And again, we're going to talk about the finalized roster here momentarily. But one really good sign from yesterday's big win over the Padres was that Gabriel Moreno is him again. Damon, he is him again. After concerns about his arm injury, which he appears to be fine and well from, he was 3 for 4 yesterday with a double that he smoked and 2 home runs that he also smoked. 2 RBI. His first home run in the 3rd inning went 445 feet with an exit velo of 108 miles per hour. The second one inning later, went 459 feet and had an exit velo of 110.1 miles per hour.
900 feet of home runs.
Just casually.
Insane.
Yeah. I mean, if you throw the double in there, there's probably 1,000 feet of hits there for sure.
I love it.
For sure.
I love it.
And again, it's, he is a guy that, talking about my concerns this spring training, meaningless concerns. I had my concerns about how long it took for him to get his first hit. And then more concerns based on the injury, right? So, which
I think is always kind of there with Gabby until, he proves that he can consistently stay on the field, right? Because that injury was like, it just felt like, oh my God, here we go again. And thankfully it feels like he's fine, but yeah, that's always gonna be in the back of my head. Glad to see him hitting though.
Yeah, it's a very encouraging sign, of course, because the Diamondbacks their offense again is going to be good this year, but it could be great if Gabriel Moreno could take that step forward in a similar way that Perdomo did last year, and and those other guys can maintain their level of production. If you can keep the trio of stars that the Dbacks have still hot at the plate, but you add in a Gabby Moreno, you add in consistent production from like a Jordan Lawler, this offense is fine. It's fine. And in fact, I would say that there's a good chance that the Diamondbacks are less reliant on the home run ball and the power this year, even though it's going to be there, and they can be more reliant on consistent batting average. Let's not forget that just one season ago, this team led Major League Baseball in batting average. They tied the Padres, but still led Major League Baseball in batting average, right? I think that is very possible with the way this team is constructed, because you're going to have less of those feast and famine guys like Gino Suarez was last year on your roster. And consistently, when you look through 1 through 9, these are all guys that can hit. You start adding in the potential of a Jordan Lawler. You start adding in potentially like Jorge Barrosa when he's playing, and other guys contributing in the same way that they've been contributing this spring. And you could see this team very much being fine offensively this year. It's all about the pitching. It's all about the pitching staff, the starting pitching staff, and the relievers, right? But Jorge Barrosa, again, a guy who deserves his flowers for what he's done in Cactus League play. 2 for 4 yesterday, another home run, 2 runs scored. Barrosa's batting average is .333, but more impressive, Damon, his OPS is 1.118. 1.118. And again, this is a guy that has not really shown this level of consistency or power during the regular season at any point. And fans were right to be kind of discouraged about the idea that Jorge Barrosa at one point, before the Lawler decision was solidified, was going to be, an outfielder for this team, right? But I think that this is what's so cool about baseball. It's also what I really like about pro wrestling. You never know when a guy's going to turn a corner and suddenly be something completely different, And again, this is just Cactus League play, so I'll reserve judgment for regular season at bats. But for a guy that really has not shown any that this was even kind of on the radar for him, I'm impressed by what he's done in spring play.
It's been fantastic. I'm also going to be that guy.
You have to be that guy. I understand.
I have a feeling that I'm going to need to defeat Jorge Barrosa at some point this season.
No, Damon, no.
I have a feeling. I hope he proves me wrong. But I have a feeling, and me and Big Jake were texting about this a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting there, and we're going to be like, get Ryan Waldschmidt these ABs, please. Yeah. I'm tired of watching this guy in the lineup. Now, this is unfair given the spring that he's had. So I hope that, like I said, he proves me wrong. He makes me look like a big idiot. But I'm putting it on the record right now. Jorge Barrosa, Damon Dawg, do not believe in you, sir. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I get it. I get it. Well, and it's going to be hard for him to prove you wrong because as it stands, I don't know where he is going to necessarily get playing time. Torey Lovullo will
he's
never.
the fourth outfielder right now, no?
Yeah, and I mean,
so like Jake McCarthy from last year. He played plenty.
That's true. That's true. But you do have the return of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. very soon. I mean, we don't know how soon, but we think pretty soon. We've seen the videos. We've seen the tape on it. It appears that it's very imminent. So I don't know. The Diamondbacks, honestly, and this is, I think somebody, Book's Journey might have brought it up in the chat, but there is a very interesting roster, kind of decision to be made, multiple roster decisions to be made, and more when guys start returning from being injured and such and being added back to the 40-man roster. So I still don't know how everything is going to pan out, but we'll do our best to figure it out here on the other side of this break. But before we go to break, I did want to remind everybody, since we have so many people RSVPing, that we are having our opening day watch party in just a few days. Damon's got some complications. Damon's availability is TBD. All right. Remember, just like pro wrestling, the card is always subject to change. But I will be there, perhaps by myself, perhaps with Noah, perhaps just with this dog that sits next to me. But regardless, we will be having a watch party and a pre-game show out at Crybaby at 818 North 1st Street in Phoenix, Arizona, right here in downtown. And then we will all be watching the Dodgers get beat by the Dbacks on opening day. Doors open at 5. Game starts at 5:30. We have huge TVs to watch the game, food and drink available for purchase, and you can RSVP for free on our website. And come join us. Like I said, we got about 20 RSVPs already, and that's very exciting. I'm excited to have so many people pumped for opening day.
Yeah, it's gonna be electric. Derek, I would say that if somehow you brought the Damon's Dawg on a day that I maybe was not able to be in attendance, that sounds about like the saddest possible thing I could think of.
I don't know. I don't know if you've paid attention to the details on this program, David.
You're going to be sitting there just staring.
This dog does not appear on this show when you are not here. I don't know if you've noticed that. He doesn't come on the show when Damon's not here, so that's part of it. We got Big Jake Franklin asking in the chat, should I fly in? Hell yes, you should, Jake. Let's go, Jacob. Well, you know what? We'll get a bed. We'll get a hotel room in downtown Phoenix, and we'll share a bed like old times when we were in Chicago. Just you and me, both being too big to share a bed together. Cannot wait.
I might still pop out, Derek, even if my show with Wildcats conflicts and gets in the way a little bit. I still want to see the people.
You got a lot going on. Arizona sports has got a lot going on that day. So of course,
very true.
Damon's going to be all over the place, but hopefully you'll be able to join us. Hopefully you guys will be able to join us. So make sure, again, you RSVP for that. It's free. Just want to know how many people are coming so we know exactly. I don't know how many stools to have. I don't know how that works. I don't know. I'm not a food and beverage guy, but we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk about the opening day roster being set and who is in and who is out of the Diamondbacks bullpen. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, summer is almost here, and we know that those energy bills are going to be struggling when it comes to battling the heat. And let me tell you, we all need to try to stick to a budget. It's hard for your monthly bills to stick to a budget when, of course, you don't know what you're going to be billed. And with APS's budget billing, you can know that amount exactly. Maybe you're saving up for something, or maybe just in general, you love your bills being regular and something that you can predict. To help you out, APS has their budget billing program. When APS customers sign up for budget billing, your payment is averaged out over the full year, so you pay about the same month for your energy bill every single month. That gives you a more predictable payment and helps you save, helps you plan, and most importantly, helps you during the summers here in Arizona. So learn more about budget billing and other options for managing your bill at aps.com/let's talk right now. And the Window Depot wants to help you get started on your next project. Now is the perfect time to do so. And the Window Depot, as I've told you multiple times, has far more than just windows. They are experts in windows, but now they even have flooring at their Tucson location, which is coming soon to their Phoenix location, as well as so much else. They have cabinets, countertops. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. Skylights, sinks, more. They have these items in store and ready for pickup. It's the reason why contractors love the Window Depot. They have job site ready quantities and unbeatable low prices. Also, no membership fee for contractors or for you. So make sure to stop by the Window Depot today. Get started on your next project. And of course, if you're like me, you need a little help getting started, they have in-house designers that are absolutely free that can help you get started on your next project. All you got to do is come in and they'll help you plan your space at no extra cost. From countertops to cabinets, they got you covered and they make it simple. Visit thewindowdepot.com and get started on your next project right now. Espo already rejected the budget offer, Jacob. That's how quickly that decision was made. Sorry about that one, buddy. But of course, we know some other difficult decisions are being made by the Diamondbacks right now, including some recent cuts that were made. Philip Abner was a guy who we thought could potentially be an option for the Diamondbacks, left-handed option for the Diamondbacks coming out of the pen. He was reassigned or optioned, to AAA Reno. So that happened, and that kind of solidified Brandon Garcia a bit as the only left-hander. However, with cuts being made from other teams and other roster decisions being made, there could be a last-minute move here made by the Diamondbacks before they have to submit their opening day roster on Wednesday. So with that being said, we don't know exactly who is in and who is out, or if Brandon Garcia is a lock for one of those final bullpen positions. Now, I did want to just discuss Jacob Amaya briefly because he had himself a tremendous spring. He is one of those like minor league guys that honestly, quite frankly, just like Jose Fernandez, maybe just like Ryan Waldschmidt, you couldn't really ask some of these guys to do more than they did to impress. I mean, Ryan Waldschmidt in the final game yesterday was 3 for 4 with a double and a run scored. He ends the spring training with a 302 batting average and an 821 OPS. Okay, so Waldy's ready, as are some of these other guys that I'm sure the Diamondbacks are going to try their best to, keep them ready and keep them available for an opportunity should it present itself. But Steve Gilbert, in his recent article, spoke to Mike Hazen, and he basically confirmed that right-handed relievers Joe Ross and Jonathan Loaizaga, both guys who were non-roster invitees, they have made the team and their contracts will be purchased. So both of those guys are in the bullpen, which again, that's going to create some very interesting roster decisions that need to be made to the Diamondbacks' overall 40-man roster. You also have Steve kind of confirming in his article that Ildemaro Vargas has also been added to the roster or will make the opening day roster, it sounds like. So right now, the Diamondbacks position players seem set. Their outfield is comprised of Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas, and Jordan Lawler. Third base is Arenado. Shortstop Perdomo. Second base Marte. First base and DH would be Santana and Pavin Smith. You got Gabriel Moreno and James McCann behind the plate. And then your bench consists of Ildemaro Vargas, Jorge Barrosa, and Tim Talla. And that's what the Diamondbacks position players are looking like for their opening day roster. And then we have like I said, the imminent return of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And again, that's going to be interesting how that impacts everything overall. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, veterans Paul Sewald, Kevin Ginkel, and Ryan Thompson seem to be in, along with Loaizaga and Joe Ross. And then Taylor Clark has been undeniable. And considering the Diamondbacks acquired him as a free agent, that's somebody who is also kind of confirmed to be in. So outside of that, you would have 2 remaining spots in the bullpen. And with guys that have not been already optioned to AAA or moved in some way, you got Juan Murillo and Brandon Garcia, which seem likely. Andrew Hoffman also had a really nice spring and probably deserves a shot. But again, they'll probably go with experience here over Hoffman's numbers that he put up in spring training, and we'll likely see him left off the opening day roster as far as the bullpen is concerned. I could be wrong about that. And also Brandon Garcia, again, isn't a lock. He really struggled. It was nice to see him at least have one, good final outing of spring training yesterday, but still not super encouraged by what we saw out of his last 3 outings prior to yesterday. So, I mean, the Diamondbacks might not be confident in him as their only left-handed option for now either. So that's the reason why there is that caveat of they could still go out and add another arm should one become available from another team. But, that seems unlikely, though that I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, which is so contradictory to say. Sorry to be hypocritical and stand on both sides of the fence on that one. But I don't see the Diamondbacks making any last minute moves, but they have done it in the past. And it kind of is understandable with how, bad Brandon Garcia's last few outings have been. Yesterday, though, 1 inning pitch, no hits allowed, no earned runs, and 2 strikeouts. So at least a much more encouraging outing in his last outing of spring training. Then for the starting rotation, you have Zach Gallen, Ryan Nelson, and Eduardo Rodriguez going in Los Angeles. Zach Gallen will be on opening day. Ryan Nelson in game 2. Eduardo Rodriguez in game 3 there against the Dodgers. Then back here at home will be Michael Soroka going against the Tigers, and Brandon Pfaadt going against the Detroit Tigers in the final spot in the starting rotation. I'm sure it's more about how things line up, but it's interesting to see Eduardo Rodriguez kind of moved up there to third. Michael Soroka not in the final spot. Brandon Pfaadt there in the final spot. I don't want to look too much into anything right now, especially considering that Merrill Kelly's return is also on the horizon and he will be back soon. But we had this tweet from Nick Picoro, and Nick basically told us that Merrill Kelly could return at some point on the second road trip of the season, meaning that Kelly's not going to be available as soon as we thought, right? The second road trip of the season, isn't too long away, but it does go to show that based on him being placed on the IL, he will have to miss a number of games before he can return. That second road trip starts on April 7th against the New York Mets, and then they go against the Phillies and the Orioles before returning home against the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm going to wait to talk about the schedule until tomorrow, but their schedule is so difficult in the month of April. It's really bad. And I think the only hope here is that maybe the Padres aren't very good. And when we go to Mexico City to take them on, we can just sweep that series and come back feeling rejuvenated and new. But Diamondbacks definitely have some tough tests to start out the season, including Dodgers, Tigers, Braves, Mets, and Phillies, and then Orioles, Blue Jays, all lined up like that throughout the month. But good to have Merrill Kelly back. But again, I'm not. I have no idea what the Diamondbacks are going to do for some of these roster spots that they're going to need to make when guys return. And again, difficult decisions are going to have to be made. Someone brought up in the chat, Jorge Barrosa does not have any options left. So that impacts this situation. I also have said that about, their starting rotation. Ryan Nelson and Brandon Pfaadt are the only guys with options there. And depending on what the Diamondbacks want to do when Kelly returns, I mean, there is a chance that Michael Soroka might have outperformed either one of those guys. I'm doubtful that Nelly is on the bubble like that. I feel like it's more about Brandon Pfaadt, but I'm not sure. And I don't envy the Diamondbacks for, the roster decisions that they have to make. What I am at least cautiously optimistic about is that this bullpen is going to be improved from last year. But why do I think that? I have no reason to think that, Damon. That honestly, and I don't want to attack the Diamondbacks because they did all that they could do, try to give guys opportunities and to bring in some new arms and to improve this bullpen. But I am not convinced the bullpen led by Paul Sewald, Kevin Ginkel, and Ryan Thompson once again is going to be more effective than it's been in the past. I do like what Jonathan Loaizaga has done so far. Taylor Clark's looked outstanding. Juan Murillo's looked outstanding. So, I mean, there's some encouragement there, but I definitely have my concerns about the bullpen heading into the season, and it continues to be the biggest, obvious glaring weakness of this team.
No doubt about it. I mean, you look at the lineup, I think you feel pretty good. You feel better than you probably did at the start of the offseason with some of the springs that these guys have had, with Jordan Lawler's breakout, with knowing that Lourdes should be back fairly soon, those type of things, right? So the lineup shouldn't be the concern. I personally think the rotation is going to be better than what probably most Dbacks fans think,
I agree
considering that the last 2 years we thought the rotation was going to be really good. It's much of the same guys, and I feel like it's been an absolute, just unmitigated disaster the last 2 years. Everything that possibly could have gone wrong went wrong. And so I just expect maybe a little bit more positive regression in that regard. But the bullpen,
yikes.
It looks bad.
Yeah, I know.
And, I think there were times this offseason where we said the same thing about the bullpen of like, expect a little bit of positive regression. Maybe, Mike traded for a lot of these new young arms. A few of them hopefully will kind of, stick and show out. It doesn't really feel like the young guys are the ones that are going to be the main horses in this bullpen. It's much more, like you said, it's Kevin Ginkel, it's Ryan Thompson, it's Paul Sewald.
Yeah.
It's the guys that we know, the evil that we know, if you will,
yeah.
Derek. And so I don't know that makes me feel all that great. The Kade Strowd, send down to the minors, I told you, felt like a shot to the heart.
I don't even know if we really discussed that.
No, we didn't.
Kade Strowd was optioned to AAA Reno, and
just a shot to the heart.
Like, on one hand, I have seen what Jonathan Loaizaga has done so far, and I think that he's looked great. And I'm excited that he has rebounded, because what he's done in the past it makes me very encouraged about him as an addition to this team. However, I hate that the Diamondbacks traded Blaze Alexander for a guy that has now been optioned. I kind of penciled Strowd in regardless of how he performed this spring, due to the fact that he was, a guy the Diamondbacks traded for and actively added to this roster, giving up one of their most electrifying pieces from last year. And yeah, I get it. Like,
you just want to see Kade Strowd stick. Like, even if you feel like, oh, Blaze, we had a little bit of excess of infield, we could get rid of him and try to get something that we needed.
A lot of questions about where he was going to play.
You just got to have Kade Strowd be on the MLB roster. If he's going to be in AAA Reno, all of a sudden, I hate the trade so much. And I told you, Derek, like, on top of it, now I feel like Kade Stroud's going to go down to Reno, have an ERA of 5.8, stink, ruin his confidence, and now the trade was a complete disaster. We had Blaze Alexander and we lit him on fire.
Yeah.
And that's all. Now we burn that. We burn that player. So hopefully Kade Strowd ends up being able to contribute to this team, but that one felt bad. I was hoping that a lot of these younger guys would kind of make themselves undeniable. Dre Jameson, Andrew Hoffman, and it just feels like it's going to be us running back the vets that we know haven't performed all that great recently, and hoping that Kevin Ginkel stays healthy and Ryan Thompson finds 2023 form and all this stuff. It's not good. The bullpen is not good.
Yeah. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and on the other side of this break, we have happier times. We're going to do a little thing we call Mailbag Monday around here. We're going to get to it here momentarily. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, I love Pure Edibles, because Pure Edibles helps with anything. It doesn't matter what you're looking for in life. Pure Edibles has a delicious candy that can help you out, whether you're looking to improve your sleep, something to elevate your mood, or one of their many other effects. You can find those listed on each tin of Pure Edibles. And of course, also, you'll find the delicious flavors of each candy on the tin. They have a wide variety of flavors, not just gummies, or candies, I should say, not just gummies. They have hard candies, chews, soft candies. They have their version of Starburst. They have Kicks, called Kicks, and so much more. So make sure to not miss out on the full line of products from Pure Edibles. They also have a collaboration with Mother Road Brewing Company, where they are bringing you the finest IPA in all the land, Tower Station IPA, now in a smooth THC all-in-one device. And it brings you the same citrusy notes and piney hops that you get from that delicious IPA, but now in a THC device. So get this collaboration with Mother Road Brewing Company at select retailers across the state. Make sure to find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And baseball season is almost here, and you know what that means. It's time for Game Time to help us get unbeatable tickets that we just won't find anywhere else. And that is because the Game Time app is so simple to use. It's so innovative. It's always coming up with new ways to not only find you the cheapest tickets, but make sure you get access to those tickets faster. And of course, with less searching, of course. Fees are included in the price you see on Game Time, which is one of the reasons I love it. I hate to see that jump when you go to checkout with fees and taxes and everything included, and suddenly you're paying double or triple the price of what you thought you were going to pay. Not on Game Time. You'll see the exact price you're going to pay. And of course, there's always good deals on MLB tickets. So do not miss out on attending baseball games now that the season is here. Make sure to check out Game Time. They have their zone deals where you can pick a section of the stadium, let's say the outfield, and they will do the rest of the work to find you the best deal at Chase Field. So do not miss out on Game Time's unbeatable service and unbeatable prices. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Damon, what time is it?
Game time?
Game time. Well, we are here on our final Monday without regular season baseball. And of course, you know that before the season starts, that every year on the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast is our year. Every year is the year of the snake. Every month on this podcast is Hispanic Heritage Month. Every single week on this very podcast is Shark Week. Every single day on the PHNX Diamondbacks show is opening day. But on Mondays, we go to the mailbag powered by Game Time. Damon, let's go to the mailbag.
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox. And then once in a while, there's a letter that makes me go, wow, wow. My mailbox, always something interesting.
Welcome into Mailbag Monday, powered by our friends at Game Time. Make sure to use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Damon, what do we got here in the mailbag today? I know we got a lot of good questions. I know people are excited to be back to baseball this week. But of course, it's also the lull between the WBC championship game and opening day, which is kind of like this purgatory that we're stuck in until the actual games start. But what do we got?
Our first question comes from Travis Moore, of course. Is there any specific ballpark food that you really want to experience but haven't yet? The crab cakes at Camden Yards come to mind first for me.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds unreal.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm a sucker because we don't really get good seafood here in Arizona, right? So I'm a sucker for any place that has like accessible, good, fresh seafood. So if you tell me that a ballpark meal has crab or lobster in it, I'm there. You don't even have to tell me twice. In fact, I had once the delicious crazy crab sandwich at Oracle Park in San Francisco, along with the garlic French fries. And let me tell you, that was worth traveling to San Francisco for alone in itself.
That sounds incredible, Derek.
The garlic by the way, the seagulls will eat the garlic French fries right out of your goddamn hands. It's amazing. I've never seen birds this brave in my entire life, but the crazy crab sandwich does go crazy. If I was to travel for an item I haven't had, the one thing I came across, Damon, that really struck me as like, I want to get on a PJ right now in Scottsdale and just head out, is to Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, AKA our bank park. That Alec Thomas is the owner and proprietor of. They have burnt ends cheesesteaks out there in Philly. Philly knows their way around a cheesesteak as it is. But you're going to tell me that they put burnt ends in a cheesesteak and I can buy it at the ballpark? I don't care how much it costs. Money is no object when it comes to that. I will happily fly. And then, like, as far as gross food is concerned, that most people probably would not agree with. Look, I like Skyline chili. I'm not gonna hide it. I've eaten it before and it's delightful. And apparently at Great American Ballpark, you can get like a Cincinnati Reds helmet filled with Skyline chili. I hate Nessie Foods at a ballpark, but I like Skyline chili. I'm conflicted and I want the helmet, so I'm probably gonna get the Skyline chili.
I've had Skyline chili at Great American Ballpark.
Have you? Did you eat it in a ball? And did you eat it in a helmet, or was it just in a trough?
I think it was just in like a paper trough.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's Skyline chili, brother.
I know.
It's the same
Yeah.
all the time, every time.
It doesn't disappoint.
Well,
And it also disappoints every time.
yeah. It's kind of a mixture of both.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, I would travel all over the place. I will say that I don't know if Seattle ever got rid of the roasted crickets, but that always, Seattle Mariners used to sell roasted crickets for consumption, and it was a delicacy. I think that ended pretty fast, though.
I do this every once in a while, and everyone gets really upset with me because it's just not my brand. But like, I do like going to both or all three, I guess, of the Southern California. I almost forgot the Angels even exist because it's like,
they do.
Is that a team that people go watch play? I guess
they got Pac-Man snacks.
I went last
Angels
summer,
games.
and I'm sitting here and I'm like, what Angels, huh? But all three of the Southern California stadiums, I like the vibes there because it's like very like it's SoCal, it's tacos and Mexican beer, and I'm having it's just that's where I want to live outside, with 75 degrees and there's seagulls flying above, and I got a michelada in my hand and I'm watching the Dbacks kick some Dodger ass. That's my ideal world.
I mean, that sounds like a wonderful night. Also, I don't mean to be anything pro Padres, but there may have been a leak of their new City Connect jersey.
Oh, you like it?
I kind of like it.
I
kind of like it.
Can I be real? I thought, they did what we did, which is they took their City Connect jersey and they said, what if we switched up the vibe but kept the exact same logo, branding, all of that stuff, but with a different colorway?
Yeah.
Because it's the same jersey that they had with the neon.
You mean the San Diego?
Yes, but it's just differently colored.
It's blue.
It's
navy
blue, right? With orange instead.
It's like got the Dia de los Muertos like vibe to it with the sugar skull or the
That might be different, but I'm talking about
cool.
just what the San Diego on the front here. It's in that like Friends font. You know what I'm talking about? But I think it's okay. Yeah. I think that we did our rebrand of the Serpientes better than they did their rebrand of the Padres thing.
I agree. And then we got the Giants becoming the Gigantes, so everybody wants to be like us when it comes to that. But
I just see Jacob, Candace, I'm sorry, I just disagree with you guys. I think that there's like certain stadiums where you're like, this is baseball, and I feel like it's old, but like it's a pretty cool stadium, man. Like
I will say I'm a sucker for a lot of things in LA when it comes to like them being older and stuff. I like the Hollywood Bowl. I like Dodger Stadium.
Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Rose Bowl's great too. Absolutely. Oh, take me back to I don't want to date myself talking about being there when
it's the one redeeming quality I think they have.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, what else we got?
Our next question here is from, let me get back over here. Sizzle in the Sun, Michael says, can we blame Nolan Arenado for this heat wave? He didn't like Arizona spring training because of the cold mornings.
100%. Like, you don't go out there and tempt the weather gods here in Arizona. I don't even know if weather gods is a real thing, but he definitely did. He tempted the baseball gods for sure. He was like, bring it on. I want warmer. I want hotter. And boy, did he get it. Boy, did we all get it. We got games changing times. We got nobody wanting to play in the afternoon anymore. And that sucks. Like, the one thing that and the ironic part is that we're going to have nicer temperatures here in like a week. So by the time Diamondbacks have their opening day game, we're going to have great temps, and the roof's going to be open and everything's going to be open. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But it did suck for spring training because I think that's the one thing that we all get out of spring training. You go to a spring training game, you get to hang out, you get to enjoy the beautiful weather and be outside at an outdoor park. Even with the, stadium open, it doesn't feel very like you're much outdoors, at Chase Field. Though I will say it's completely transformed when the roof is open. I love Chase Field on such a different level when that place is opened up, top down, windows open, vibes immaculate. Like, that's great and all. And I'm glad we're going to get it to start the first season or the first month of the season. But, again, I felt like we were kind of robbed there of the end of spring training. However, with it being a WBC year, was there very much interest in spring training? Like, I would argue that there wasn't. I would argue that more teams needed to do what they were doing out on the West Side and, changing their ticket prices and trying to do everything they can to just get people to come out watching baseball games, even if it was just prospects and other guys performing and not the normal stars. But yeah, the heat is to be blamed on Nolan Arenado, and hopefully he can, learn his lesson. And I don't know. He needs to somehow make up for this in some way. Maybe by hitting 400 in spring training, he did that. I don't know. What else we got, Damon?
Our next question here comes from Fleaball, who says, NBA needs to get rid of back-to-backs and tanking. What does the MLB need to get rid of?
Oh boy. MLB needs to get rid of 2-game and 4-game series during the regular season. Doesn't make any sense to me. It feels like, considering how many times they have to like adjust and adapt and make a 2-game series here because you had a 4-game series here or whatever the case may be, seems silly. I think every series in baseball should be 3 games. And I know that's dumb, but it's just how I see it. I also think that they could, make every series 3 games and reduce the season down by a little bit so that we, don't have as many baseball games. But I know they're never going to do that. So I'll stop beating that horse. But I will say, when it comes to, the season, I think there is, things like that they could change. I agree with Jacob and J Army Strong in the chat, though. They both said just get rid of the Dodgers. That seems like an easy fix for baseball. You do that and things suddenly get much, much better.
I mean, that I'm all in on that answer.
I know. But yeah. 2BMC says 2 games get rid of, but I like a good 4-game weekend with a division rival. Yeah, I mean, you're not entirely wrong about that. I just think that it settles nothing. Like, the point of a series is determine a series winner. And that's something that I think is what the purpose of having 3-game sets should be. Zach says, get rid of ghost runners and extras. No, sir. No, we're not going back to 15-inning games, Zach. I'm sorry. I don't want it. I don't want it as someone that has to sit there and be at the ballpark until 1:30 in the morning covering this team. So let's not get rid of ghost runners and extras, at least during the regular season.
Get rid of the long drawn out off season. Like, make free agency an event. Make people care about free agents signing with different teams, because that's what the NBA has done. They've commoditized that. That's what the NFL's done. They've commoditized that. The MLB sits there and puts their hands in their lap and goes, well, no one has any interest in baseball for the 6 months that we don't play games.
I completely agree. And I think that baseball does a bad job at all of their events. I think that, covering baseball, the funny part about it is how quick everybody just says like, oh, well, nobody has interest in it, right? Nobody had interest in a lot of things when it came to the NFL and the NBA. But those leagues made those events into something, right? And with time, people buy in and they get excited for it and it becomes an event. I think MLB is as guilty as anybody of writing off their own popularity and assuming that nobody's interested in their stuff, so they don't capitalize on it. I said this about spring training with the lack of spring training games that were available to watch in this day and age. You know what we were watching today? We were watching pigs race. We were watching pig racing, as many people right now are, because it has electrified the internet and is one of the most exciting things I think I've ever seen.
Electric.
I'm a huge Piggy Smalls fan. Have been since day one.
That's my racer.
That's my goat. Okay.
Wow, I didn't know we were on the same side here.
Yeah, it's rare that we are, but we recognize the greatness in somebody that truly like rises above the rest, right? The idea of pigs racing here is the idea that somebody made that exciting and into an event, just like marble racing when that was a thing during like the pandemic. Like you have to be better at promoting your own thing and making it into a big deal to get people to buy into it and also make it a big deal. And yeah, like RA says, people talk in NFL almost year round. How? It's a 17-game season. And yet, yes, NFL is king year round, from January to January, bell to bell. So, it really does seem like Major League Baseball does a poor job of turning their product, their content, their stuff into something that's a premier event. Instead, they want to throw it on like the MLB network or on MLB.com or whatever. Stop it. Stop it. Put it on ESPN. Put it on something else. Get this stuff in a national audience's view, on their radar. And again, that's on baseball to do. But Now I'm bummed out talking about baseball being bad at what they do and promoting. So let's take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to do some more Mailbag Monday questions. And of course, you are watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, now is the best time of the year to be a sports fan, especially here in Arizona, right? This is an incredible time of the year, but Bet365 wants to make it even more incredible. And that's because the next few months are a sports fan's fever dream, which means there's never better time to check out Bet365 if you have not done so already. And if you're not convinced yet, consider this. Just in time for the biggest sports season of the year, they're offering up one of their biggest promos. Get $10 or bet $10, get $365. That's right. Bet 10, get 365. When any new Bet365 user signs up and makes a $10 bet, they'll get $365 in bonus bets. Win or lose, it's the perfect party favor. It's the perfect way to get in on the baseball season. And of course, they have their MLB early payout offer where you're a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs. And that is on straight bets as well as parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. So get down on Bet365 where winning is everything. Download the app today. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona. $10 minimum deposit required. Bonus bet wager excluded from returns. New customers only. 21 and over only. Time limits, minimum odds, and terms and conditions apply. In-app only. Void where prohibited. And of course, everyone needs a checking account, but Mountain America Credit Union wants to give you a checking account that gives back to you, that doesn't just take your money, but provides you with benefits. And get the account with built-in benefits known as the My Style checking account, which has perks just for you, including restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, and so much more. Of course, make sure your checking account will provide you with loan rate discounts. Make sure your checking account gets you offers on travel and offers on the events you want to go to, and so much more. So do not miss out on the My Style checking account for your lifestyle over at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply today. Insured by NCUA, membership is required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions do apply. All right, Damon. Well, let's get back to our Mailbag Monday. What else we got there? Presented by our friends at Game Time.
Yeah, of course. Shout out Game Time Brighton. Bobbit says, serious question. Is there any concern about Zach Gallen's fastball command with the uptick in velocity? Was an issue last year when it went up. Not serious question. If we set the over-under for Killer X getting banned from the chat at 39.5 times this season, we taking the over or the under?
See, I feel like I in regards to question number 2, I feel like I have a huge impact on that.
You are the entire impact of
little insider trading there. I would probably take the under. I feel like 39.5 is pretty high. As far as times of me wanting to ban him, 39.5 is very low.
Oh,
but
for sure.
The season, for 162 game season, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be at 100 easily for times wanting to ban him. But
Derek will call for him to be banned no less than 162 times.
Correct. But the first part of that question actually is concerning. I mean, when it comes to fastball command, it feels like everybody's up a tick, right? It feels like everybody's velocity is up. That could be a product of the change in analytics approach. It could be something to do with Jeremy Bleich and his impact on this team. I do feel like, pitching, the pitching strategy is going to lean towards their pitcher's strengths now versus trying to pick so much on the batter's individual weaknesses. However, again, the lack of command is a problem for Zach. And I think that is something that, that led to a lot of those erratic outings where Gallen would be outstanding one night and then 5 days later would struggle and would give up multiple home runs, similar to this last outing that he had of the spring training season. But I do think that from what we've seen out of Zach so far, I am encouraged by a lot of things. And I do think that, if that's the case, hopefully Gallen can adapt and know where he's at. His fastball is very important. If Gallen can't establish his fastball command, then the rest of his game is completely off. I mean, there's other guys in the starting rotation that if their fastball is not landing, there's other things they can do. There's other pitches they can throw. And some of them are not even relying on the four seam as their primary pitch. But when it comes to Gallen, that it really sets up a lot. And, his command is a big reason why he's had the success he's had throughout his career. Right. So hopefully it's not a matter of him trying to do too much and go out there and, have that velocity up a tick. It's a good sign though in spring training. It just means that perhaps, now he needs to focus in on ensuring that command is there to partner together with his velocity. Excuse me. What else we got, Damon?
Our next question here is from Jarmy, who's here in the chat. It says, Jorge, Jordan, and Gabby let home runs fly in the preseason. What do you think changed for them, and did that make decisions tougher or harder for Hazen when shaping the final roster? Bonus question, have you tried the new steak burger tacos from Freddy's? They're excellent.
No free ad Friday. I can't answer that second part, but I have not, and I will. So maybe other people should as well. I'm not. Is that an ad? That constitutes an ad. For the rest of your question, yeah, I mean, I will say Barrosa being as good as he's been this spring is a good problem for the Diamondbacks. I don't think the other two there really change much other than reinforcing what the Diamondbacks wanted to do, right? So when you talk about Jordan and Gabby, especially Gabby having those 2 home runs after the little injury scare and the brief time down, those things are just very encouraging, and it just makes you feel like, the Dbacks did make the right decision here. Jordan's adapting well to the outfield. Defensively, he's been good out there. Gabby, of course, his offense is picking up and things are looking good there. With Barrosa, I do think that it's interesting for him, for the Diamondbacks. And again, it's a positive thing because it does at least allow for the time being them to kind of feel like they can count on Jorge, and that when they put him into these games, it's not just going to be him taking up a spot in the starting lineup and being out there defensively as an outfielder. It feels like he can add to this team, he can be productive, and he can help this team win baseball games. But it's also a matter of, as we discussed earlier with you guys saying it in the chat, he's out of options. So the Diamondbacks don't necessarily have that ability to swap him down to AAA and let him get right like they've been able to do in the past. So I do think for Barrosa, he's aware of his situation, and it could be a big reason why he is performing as well as he is. I mean, some guys get their back against the wall, and that's when you see the best kind of come out of them. And in this case, that could be what's going on with Jorge Barrosa. I mean, there's other guys capable of also being a backup 4th outfielder for this team on the roster. And in the case specifically of Barrosa, when Lourdes Gurriel Jr. comes back, he becomes very expendable at that point. So he has a limited amount of time during the regular season to go out there and perform so well that the Diamondbacks have more difficult decisions to make once their roster, starts to see those guys returning from the IL. The hope here is that is exactly what they have to do, versus it being like, oh my God, thank God Lourdes is back. We've not gotten anything out of Barrosa, in the time that he's been, out there in the outfield. So, yeah, there's that. But I think that it's not making decisions tougher. It's just making the Diamondbacks, believe in the guys that they have here. And perhaps it's making Mike Hazen's job a little bit easier, that he doesn't have to go out there and try to be kind of scanning, the roster reports and things that other teams have done as far as moves they've made to see if there's anybody available that they could add that could fill the role that they needed one of these guys to fill. So it's a good problem to have, but it's only going to get worse as guys, like I said, come back from the IL. We got anything else there, Damon? We got a few more, right?
Yeah, we actually have 2 more questions, and it starts here with Geek Martinez saying, can Derek be the manager Danhausen has been looking for so he can uncurse Arizona sports?
Okay, so yeah, Damon's confused there a little bit. Danhausen, kind of a professional wrestler.
Gotcha.
Kind of not.
Yeah, that's more
of a ghoul.
This is like, I would say like half our audience listens to this show because of Derek's wrestling.
Yeah, no,
love.
that would be fair. I mean, half's probably a bit much. I'd probably maybe a quarter of the audience is here for the pro wrestling.
Okay, well, as long as there's like 5% is here just because of how much I hate the Dodgers and do that every day. That's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly.
As Derek, as much as Derek loves wrestling, that's how much I hate the Dodgers. Correct. That's like our 1-to-1 comparison we do there.
I made the mistake one time when I was working a merch booth sitting next to Danhausen to confuse him as a vampire. He's not a vampire. He doesn't have sharp teeth. He takes teeth as currency. It's really weird. He has jars of teeth. He also likes to make monies. So I have offered Danhausen publicly on social media both monies and teeths, jars of teeths, for him to remove the curse off of the Diamondbacks, because this man can place and remove curses from people and entities and things. Still waiting his response, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just collectively, I don't even know if it's just off the Diamondbacks. I just think I need him to remove the curse off of Arizona sports as a whole. Perhaps we can make that happen by Thursday. That's the plan, but we'll see. And no, I don't want to be manager of this team ever. Don't ever offer me that role. I will not take it. I will politely turn it down because I'm not ready for that level of stress in my life. Torey Lovullo had a full, luscious head of hair when he started managing this team. Thick, luxurious. He looked like The Rock in the new Moana movie. And it just, now look at the man. Now look at the man. All right, what else we got? Damon, we got one more?
Yeah, we do. Our guy, Brandon from the Die Hard Discord said, what are your honest predictions for our opening week series against the Dodgers? Cheers to another year.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Hate this.
My predictions are actually very good, very high for this team. I think the Diamondbacks have a very good chance of going into LA and taking 2 out of 3. I say that because we just kind of watched this Team USA team in the World Baseball Classic underperform despite it being an all-star team, right? With a lot of high expectations. I think the Dodgers are going to have a lot going on with that team. I think they're going to have a lot going on that weekend with opening day. I think that expectations are high, and I would bet that most Dodgers fans and maybe players even on that team think they're just going to kind of roll over the Diamondbacks here in the opening series. And I would say otherwise. And I think that if the Dbacks can find a way to win just on opening day alone, that is a huge victory. But I do think that Eduardo Rodriguez has a very good chance to be impressive if he can somehow be what he was there in the championship game and bring that same energy against the Dodgers, which he has in the past. And I think Ryan Nelson could also be very good. So even if the Diamondbacks don't win opening day, I think there's a good chance that they could still take 2 out of 3 with those two guys going on the mound. Don't ask me why I believe in Erod suddenly. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and I have since the end of last season. So that's not something you're going to be able to change when it comes to me, even though he gave up 6 earned runs, I think, or 5 earned runs in his last outing of the year last year. I still think Erod is healthy, 100%, and ready to go. And much like Zach Gallen, I do feel like he steps up against the bigger opponents. Hopefully we can get that out of Zach, and hopefully he gives his team a chance to win. But I cannot wait, and we are going to preview the entire season and series tomorrow on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow is our big 2026 season preview. We're going to make predictions. We're going to get crazy, and it's our last show without actual regular season baseball. Cannot wait. It's also my birthday, so I don't know. Bring a party hat and some party favors because we're going to be having a party. Cannot wait for that. Of course, Damon and I are available on social media at all times. You can follow us. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. He is at Damon Dawg with a DAWG there at the end. And we're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks. But as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As far as our schedule for this week is concerned, tomorrow we have a 12 p.m. show. That will be the last 12 p.m. show of the week. We are off on Wednesday so that I can recover from my birthday. Of course, got to have that in my life. But we will be back on Thursday with a pregame show and a postgame show for opening day. Then we will have postgame shows on Friday and Saturday. So please join us for all of that and follow us on social media. We'd love to interact with you guys in the meantime and be around. If you haven't checked into the Die Hard membership, do so now. Join us on opening day out at Crybaby. We're going to be having a party, and everything is great. Cannot wait for baseball to be back. Thank you guys again for your time. Appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon. Until then, behave yourself, Candace. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when opening day is finally here.
We all silly like the mayor.